Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to bringing the Vision video. What I guess today is something a bit different. Today I wanted to make a video talking about the best weapons in my opinion in the game right now. As always, this always varies depending on what kind of player you are. If you are a SMG player, obviously you will normally prefer SMGs over ARs no matter how good or how bad they are. But in my opinion, I am kind of a balanced player. I use anything and pretty much everything in the game. It doesn't really matter if it's good or bad. So I wanted to make a video giving you guys my opinion and my recommendation of what weapons you should be using at the moment. So if you guys enjoyed this video or find it helpful, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more videos, and let's get right into this. Before we actually start, let me know in the comment section below right now what your favorite weapons are at the moment. It could be a top 5, it could be a top 3, it really doesn't matter. I'm actually really curious. I read all my comments as you guys know, so I do want to see what you guys have on your minds. But anyways, like I said in the beginning, your weapon choice and your opinion will be really biased on what you use the most in the game. I know people that only use shotguns, and although they get melted by SMGs and ARs in PvP, they still prefer using shotguns because that's their playstyle and stuff like that. So the first pick or the first slot I do have are actually 2 weapons, and this really depends what kind of player you are. But what they are is the SASG-12 shotgun and the MG5 LMG. Now, in my opinion, those are the best weapons in its category for shotguns and LMGs. Something like a Pakam like the exotic LMG is really good for PvE as well, but this video is mainly focused on PvP. So if you are making a Lone Star build, or if you are making just a LMG build or a shotgun build, I would recommend using those 2 weapons. Now, something for the SASG I would recommend using is probably something like responsive, competent, even unforgiving is really good on it. Or if you want to go a little bit more into crit chance, having something like Vicious or Fierce isn't a bad choice at all. If you are looking to make a build with that weapon, the 2 builds I'll recommend 100% is either 1, a Classified Striker 6-piece Classified Striker, or a Classified Lone Star. In my opinion, those 2 builds and those 2 kind of gear sets go really well for PvP and even PvE if you decide to play that as well. As for the MG5, if you are looking to make a build with it, the only gear set and the only build I would recommend using with it is Lone Star, and that is Classified Lone Star. The 5-piece and the 6-piece are so good for it, they're so reliable and so useful. You can't really go wrong with using Classified Lone Star for this weapon. For the number 2 spot, I have something a little bit different, and this might be a little surprising, but what I have are the Lightweight M4 and the LVOAC. In my opinion, these weapons in Patch 1.8 are still really good, and keep in mind this is just my opinion. They're still really good. Although they received a nerf in Patch 1.8, they're still doing a lot of damage. A lot of people are still using them for Last Stand, Skirmish, Dark Zone, whatever it is. This is still a very reliable weapon. The only reason I put it in this spot is because the number 1 weapon I do have on this list, in my opinion, just does more damage. It's so much more reliable, it's so much easier to use. And even if you don't have really good aim, you could still use it. Now, for the Lightweight M4 in Patch 1.8, I would recommend rolling something like Vicious, Competent, Responsive, Unforgiving in the last slots, even maybe Fierce for a little bit more crit chance. The only talent I really wouldn't recommend using that much is Adept. Adept was really good, and it's still okay, it's not a bad talent, but if you want the maximum crit chance and if you want to go with a different route, I would recommend using something like Vicious or Fierce instead of Adept. As for the builds for this weapon, I would recommend using pretty much anything, something like Classified Striker, Banshee, Predamark, High-End / Exotic, pretty much anything, even Tactician is really good with this build, since it is a very versatile weapon. The final weapon I do have on this list is the House. Now yes, this is a exotic SMG that's a little bit hard to grind for at the moment. Some people can't really get it, some people are getting like 12 and 13 of them at once. But once you get this weapon, it's so worth the grind, it's so good, it's so reliable in PvP, and you can pretty much use this weapon once again with any build. Classified 6-piece Striker or Classified 6-piece Predamark will be very good. In my mind, what makes this weapon so fun and so good to use is the card counter exotic talent. Pretty much what it does is it gives you a 20% increased damage, so 1/2 of the magazine is normal damage you would have with your firearms, and the other half is increased by 20%. Now, if you're making a build heavily invested into firearms, you're going to be melting with this weapon, and something even like Classified Striker 6-piece, if you do get up to like 85, 90, 100 stacks of Striker, you're going to be absolutely shredding in PvP or even PvE. So as I said, in my opinion, this is the best weapon at the moment. Maybe in the future they will kind of adjust it, maybe in the future they might nerf it a little bit, but as of right now, I do think this is a top tier weapon. The last thing I do want to say about this weapon are the talents, and which talents I would recommend using 100%. So the first combination is a responsive deadly combination. This is what the majority of people uses for PvP, but another combination that's really good as well is responsive and unforgiving. Now, if you do have a lot of stamina, and if you're using something like Striker, having unforgiving is really good since you're going to be tanky and you're going to be doing way more damage with the unforgiving bonuses. The final group of talents you guys can try out is Vicious and Responsive, or Vicious and Deadly. This is something for a little bit more crit chance. If you are tanky, Vicious will play a big role in it, and you know, you're going to be melting enemies as soon as you see them. So anyways, that's it for the video. As I said, in my opinion, this is a top tier weapon right now, and maybe in the future it will change, but as of right now, this is something I would recommend grinding for, hands down. So anyways, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Whipping all this double bitty chopper. We fuck all you bitches at the trap house. I can't trust you, I can't give you real address. I can't trust you, I can't give you real address. It don't mean that be like Jerry Stacker. I might fall in love with my trap house.